Hey everybody, welcome back to Edgington, the city on the edge. It is dawn of day 57, and... here we go. I feel like a lot of you are probably wondering why I'm sitting here playing video games. Why am I back to doing this so soon after the news that I tragically had to deliver last week in quality time? Well, the topic for today is self-care. So that might give you some idea. Oh, yay, stone tongs. Hazar. Well, Luna. We have a Hazar. Does I think we have a Hazar? I think we have a Hazar. Oh, we're out of fishing poles, apparently. Or have we just not grabbed them? I'd be surprised if we're out of fishing poles. Apparently we are. Okay, well, let's make free then. Because we have that capacity. We have that technology. And that's kind of an important thing. We don't currently, I think... we don't currently have a connection to the world, because we're currently trying to rebuild this part of the road into something that looks a little bit nicer. But, nonetheless, we should try and get some food up. We have one name on my list, actually, here for our next visitor, our next resident, which is a ghost from beyond, which seems almost appropriate for that particular person. But yeah, so for those of you who don't watch Quality Time, and I don't know why you don't, because it's the best place to get an idea of what on earth is going on with me at any given point in time, my grandfather passed away last week. Last week as I'm recording this. Actually, literally an exact week from where I am currently recording. That admittedly hadn't occurred to me, but... So why am I playing this little talky video game, where I watch people run around doing their thing, and talk to you guys about something for 20 odd minutes? Why am I doing that? Well, the answer is... this is relaxing for me. This is me taking care of myself. Maybe not the whole video making part of it, but the actually playing games like this is fun. Is calming, and that means it falls under the banner of self-care. Self-care is things that you do when you're not feeling great, or things that you do when you're low on spoons or energy, when you're having a rough time of it. Oh yes, we do have a Hazard, the carpenter. Okay. And for some people, that's sitting in a quiet area of the house and reading a book. For others, it's watching a movie. For some people, it's playing frantic FPS games. Oh, Helena, good work. And for me, it's playing games like this. And it's important to actually have, ideas of that. It's important to know what you can play to feel more at ease, to feel calmer, to feel, roughly speaking, better. But the hardest part is knowing when you should do that. It's all well and good to say, okay, well, I know that crafting pottery is a self-care activity for me, or listening to this particular song by Wagner is particularly soothing to me, that kind of thing. But it's not a whole thing. Oh, good luck, Wolfram, on the fishing there. It's a whole other thing to know when you actually should be employing it, because if you're like me, you really, really suck at it. You really, really suck at knowing more or less your own condition, your own status debuffs, if you will. So, quite often what happens for me is I have somebody else usually shout at me to say, stop working, go and, relax for a bit, go chill. And it's also not a thing that society is particularly happy with these days. It's quite often frowned upon, actually, for workers, for want of a better description, to spend time that they could be working doing something else. So what you tend to find out is that somebody will need to take some time off, for example, in my case, bereavement, and you'll get some big corporate exec saying, no, you can't have that, or you can only have a couple weeks or so, because you need to be working. Like, emotions are very downplayed in capitalist society. Because you're only valuable as long as you're producing, as long as you're a productive member of society, as long as you're working, as long as you are providing a labor service. Which is how that comes to be. But on the flip side, you are significantly more productive, you are significantly healthier and therefore more reliable as a worker if you are allowed to practice your self-care strategies, if you are allowed the time off to get your emotional headspace in check and to ensure that you, for just one example, do not break down crying in the middle of the workday. Nobody wants to deal with that in the employee kitchen. That'll just wreck everybody's day. So self-care is an important thing, but we are conditioned as a society to dismiss it, because most society these days is capitalism-bound. Hooray. Even to some extent, mine. It's like, I don't feel great, and oh wow, our fishers are going far and wide. I should probably mark these wolves for harvesting, shouldn't we? Gather resources. Let's get our helpful and friendly... My brain's gone dead. What are you? Soul? No, you're not gonna let me select you right now. There we go. Foragers. There we go. Sorry, it's been a little while. I should have been playing this game more, if anything. But if I play it off camera, then I need to be playing a different save. So, and I like popping in on Edgington specifically, because Edgington is where it's where my friends are, I guess. Like, I've looked after these people for so long. So, I literally booted this game up, I loaded up the save, the music started playing, and I kind of got a little bit teary. Because, hey, it's home. It's my buddies. People I've taken care of for so long, and they're still here. And that's a little bit... That sensation is a little bit tender right now for me. Which I imagine you can probably understand. So yeah, the main thing of when do you need to take care of yourself, acknowledging, realizing that you need to take care of yourself, and taking the time to take care of yourself, is something that we're not grand at. Part of that boils down to communication, which is the thing that humans consider themselves magnificent for having created and are actually ridiculously terrible at. It's rough to talk about a lot of things with people, especially when you know it's going to inconvenience them, or they're not going to like to hearing about it. They're not going to enjoy hearing about it. But in addition, it's really rough to talk about your own feelings. Are you dead? You appear to be dead. Okay, good. Let's gather resources on you. Any other dead wolves? You appear to be alive. Next question. Will my foragers coming over here grab your attention? I think we have a couple of wolves. Must be some skeletons around the place. Yeah, it looks like we have 2 wolves. Got you over here. But we've got our people on patrol, and we don't have too much inland to really be much of a concern. God, blimey, can you imagine if somebody died today? Ugh, that would not be good for me. But nonetheless, okay, so that's Trunks foraging over there. We've got ourselves one of the lonely skeletons over here. So there's big, obvious points in time where it's like, okay, this is way too serious for me to ignore. I have to take, like, some time off to clear my head, that kind of thing. Points like when somebody dies, points like when, points when a marriage ends, for example, that kind of thing. Those are the two, like, big, most obvious things I can think of. I need to take care of myself, this is too much, that kind of thing. And then there's other smaller times. So, for example, let me see if I can think of an example from my own life here. When you've had a really big workload, is sort of the prime capitalism kind of approval point. It's like, yes, you are a good worker, you are taking on many jobs and contributing to the company, that kind of thing. But coming off of that, and that's not to say you can pursue non-stop. No one can do a lot of work all of the time. Coming off of that, your brain has now been conditioned to say, I need to be doing a lot of work because I've got a lot of work to do, so I should be doing a lot of work. Your brain needs time to calm down. It needs to rest. And that's where you get, like, paid leave after a big, like, deadline, for example. That's where that's important. Taking time after, like, a long work day or a hard work day, even if it's just a regular list of work, more or less, is a good moment to practice your self-care and relax. You get home, your dog brings you the paper and your slippers, you lie down, and you try not to read the politics section. Okay, let's mark these skeletal infantry that also cropped up last night. I say last night. It's been quite a while since I put up almost any game that I record. Wasn't there another one? No? Okay. I actually had to lure some of these guys out of the water, because if I'd left them alone, they would have wandered under here again and caused even bigger problems. But, oh well. And once more, we still don't know exactly what it is that determines where our fishermen stand to fish. We're still working on that knowledge. I don't know what the algorithm is, but still blip. So, yeah, I can't really think of an exact reason why. Like, there's the obvious of, we need to do this to calm our brains down, to relax, to emotionally recharge, and all that, but I can't quite think of how. Like, why do we need to recharge? Why do we need to, like, do all of this stuff? Did I mark that one? I don't know that I did. I can mark it now. It doesn't really. It seems like something that wouldn't fall under the auspices of, oh, this is an evolutionary advantage, does it? The only solution I can think of is we didn't evolve to run 100% all of the time. We evolved to run at a reasonable pace for long periods of time, which I guess ties into our old pursuit predator kind of style of living as a species. We would just walk at a gentle pace towards our prey, and the prey would tire itself out getting away from us. So we just had to keep walking at a leisurely pace for a very long period of time. And that we can do a lot better. We can chug along. But we're not sprinters in that regard. We are the best sprinters in the Animal Kingdom, but I don't think that's the definition of a sprint is that you don't do it for very long, because it's extremely energy intensive. So it's better to chug along, more or less. The sprinting is for like the last bit of the hunt. So naturally, that means that we're sort of like a car engine, I guess. You can run us hard for a bit, but then we need to cool off. We need to have some radiator fuel, listen to some light jazz over the radio. And I have been in cars before that feel like they run better depending on what you have on the stations, but is this wolf actually alive? Because he hasn't moved. at all. And I want to say he's alive because he's not in the dead pose. But on the other hand, he's not moving around at all. Now, what's the other wolf over here doing? Who's running around a bit? He's sitting down. Okay. We'll grab one of our patrols when they're all walking past. Akio, how you doing? You've got your heated shield, you've got a steel halberd. Okay then. And you're level 11. Let's bring you over to take over this wolf, shall we? Let's see how it goes. And we got like over 200 food in the time I've been making this episode. Wow, that's good. That's a good sign. And it is late morning. Okay. Also, at some point I need to remember to actually like redo the intro to these videos because it's still quite a bit back, and we actually have like completely gotten these lanterns up, and we've got the most of the road done at least. There's been a bunch of progress since I made that intro. Maybe that's something I'll do for like a nice round 10 integer, a nice round decimal episode. We'll see. So if we approach this wolf, is he going to like? Nope. Yep. He's hopping up on his legs and he's getting ready to maul. And he's coming right at Aku. And he's done. There we go. Aku, you can go back to your patrols. So then there was one wolf. Is he still along this side? That one was just having a nice little sort of lazy day to himself. That wolf was practicing his self-care. And that then brings me, I guess, to the next slight problem, which is when you try to practice self-care and something goes wrong in the middle of it. Which happened to me shortly after I got the news last week. Because I figured I would play a few games of Overwatch, just chill, just like nudge my SR up a little bit, because I wanted to hit gold before end of season. That's definitely not going to happen now, because I don't have any teams to play with, so consequently my SR is at the mercy and whims of the RNG matchmaking system. So it usually just goes down. But I digress. I figured I would chuck a few matches in, just grab a little bit of SR. And what actually happened was that no matter how hard I carried, every single game was a complete loss. So I just plummeted in SR instead. And that is really, really unhealthy. That is the point where you want to try harder to eke some kind of release out of it, but your self-care is working against you. And that is a really good way, with level 16 minor witchy, that is a really good way of doing yourself more harm emotionally than good. Okay, you still on patrol? You should be for a little bit longer at least. Courageous, overeater, strong back. Carry a lot of stuff and will be impaired by it for a fair bit. Looking pretty fancy, Aku. So we'll bring you over to deal with this wolf, since you did so well in the last one. And at that point, like, the consequence of that was that grief combined with frustration combined with just sort of self-care gone wrong meant that I just spiraled down into abject nihilism. Because at that point, what is the point? No matter what I do, everything fails and people go away. And that is a good example of when self-care goes wrong. As a good example of what happens when you need to find... Ooh, storage cap reached on building cards. Interesting. What were we making so far? So much of cobblestone. Okay. I can see why then. Can we make any more leather? We should be able to. Yes, yes we can. Put that on our lists. Because then we can make more armor. More armor that everybody can wear. And meanwhile, Aku is facing off another wolf. So, what was my self-care method at that? Well, at that point it was mostly watching YouTube videos and a movie, and eating a bunch of ice cream. Because, well, I needed it at that point. So having multiple things you can do as part of self-care is also really important. Hello, second wolf. Goodbye, second wolf. And that's the last of the wolves. Hooray. Hey. So yeah, it's good to have a number of games, if games are your main source of self-care. Good job, Trip. To like play especially non-competitive games. Especially games that involve less interaction with human beings. That are less at the mercy of RNG. Games that have a very soft concept of failure is also a good option. But you can do other things. Of course, some people bake, some people read, some people watch movies, some people watch horror movies where people die in vicious ways. I've done that a few times, obviously, it being me. I can probably turn off the wheat, if we have any wheat running right now. Wheat farm needs reseeding. No, I don't think I have any wheat farms currently running. Which is fine. And we have a merchant. No, we don't. I was gonna say, how do we have a merchant? We don't have roads. And we're apparently a little light on the brick 3 here. Yeah, let's add 10 of that to our queue. Move to top. And we need to build another building cart. Of course. Where's a good place for a building cart? Hopefully I can just put it back to back here. So structures, storage, builder's cart. Whoa, I actually can. Trying to remember what the button is to rotate, because believe it or not, I've completely forgotten. There we go, space. It's been a while. It's been a while. But there we go. Builder's cart, and then we'll get that portion squared away. We can start making a little bit more of this boulevard. I also need some wood roof tiles. Where are those? Is that wood roof tiles 2? And you tell me I have 1 wood, which means I need that wood plank. And we add lay. There we go. Okay. And just while we're at it, let's get a bunch more cloth. Because we can afford it. We have that up now? Yes, I can get rid of that. Grand. And it's now midday, so let me know in the comments, what do you do for self-care? What do you do? What do you do to look after you? Take care of yourself, treat yourself, that kind of thing. What do you do after a long, hard day? At work or school or wherever. Probably school, no, most of my audience. But I digress. So yeah, I'm doing okay for the moment, and I'm going to be doing a lot of self-care for a bit, which might make things go a little wonky on the channel, but I'll try. And I should catch you all, as always, from here in Edgington, next time.